Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest episode of the Good, the Bad, and the Obscure podcast. Today, we're going back to 1989, and we're going to talk about a little movie called Blades. Now, first, we're going to do a synopsis, and then I'll get into my review. Blades takes lawn care to a whole new level of terror when a sleepy town's lawnmowers develop a bloodthirsty appetite. Chaos ensues in the form of grass-cutting machines turn murderous maniacs.
Oh, boy, you can't never had a day like that. Who the heck?
This quirky horror comedy mows down expectations as a group of unlikely heroes, armed with nothing but their wit and garden tools, must outsmart the devilish Blades before they become the town's final trim. Get ready for a wild ride filled with grass, guts, and garden equipment gone rogue in this hilariously twisted lawnmower massacre.
Mr. Osgood, it's hole 8. He said it was urgent.
Well, Mr. Osgood, we always, Harry and I, start with the greens, then the fairways, and save the sand traps for last. Harry usually does the back nine, I do the front nine, but sometimes, like today, I was Sorry, sir. Anyway, I finished up early, and I was going over to help Harry, and anyway, sir, it's terrible. Just awful. I can't.
You're the new head pro. What are you gonna do?
Go have a drink.
Alright, so if you actually thought that sounded good, the synopsis for this movie, then I think you're going to enjoy it. For me, it's something that's a little bit over the top, and it's some good satire. It reminds me a lot of the movie Jaws, but in its own way. Like, in one of the scenes in this movie, which is very similar, which is actually taken from Jaws, where in Jaws, they think they find the right shark, but it's really not the right shark. It's like a considerably smaller shark. And in this movie, they found a push lawnmower, and they hang it up, and they're acting like that's the main shark. Well, that's the main, the main lawnmower that's killing people. But it's not. Because the main lawnmower that's actually killing people is like an industrial-sized one that you would see used on a golf course.
We were just coming off the fairway and we were heading for the 18th when I thought we should check the heavy brush. And that's where we found him. With that.
We found him hunched over it. He was probably trying to start it. To use it to kill us!
People are idiots.
Do you really think it's me? You think that mower could do the damage that's been done? Its cut radius is 1/3 the size of the one that's still out there.
Now, this movie is a lot of fun, and it's quite entertaining. Now, the only thing I would say is a little bit of a drawback in this movie, I would say, is the pacing. Because at times it's a little bit slower, and there's a lot more dialogue, which is fine, but it kind of feels stagnant at times. But then it does pick up, and you'll get like another perspective of the lawnmower, like they do in Jaws, of it like stalking people down or traveling really fast to go to a different location or whatever. It's pretty cool, like especially some of those perspectives. Now, when it comes to like the deaths in this movie, a lot of that stuff is very much off screen, but you do see like the aftermath of it, which is kind of cool because there's like one scene where they find like this one couple. It's actually closer to the beginning of the movie, And when they find them, you see their remains, but you also see each one of their arms, and they're like holding hands, and their arms are sticking straight up while holding hands still, which is kind of funny and kind of cute in a way. But I do wish they did show a little bit more of like the kills on screen, but they did keep it to like the Jaws thing, and they didn't really show anything like that, which is, I guess, a good thing too. Because like this movie, as much as it is a little bit more over the top, I think you could possibly even show this to some kids and they would get a little kick out of it, considering that's a killer lawnmower movie. Nowadays, there's so many movies like that. I mean, you have like those really not so great movies like Sharknado. And I mean, back in 1989 and like the 80s, there were still movies like this that were a little bit odd and a little off. One of my favorites was Microwave Massacre, which is a very, very fun movie too. But that one's a little bit more over the top and a little bit more adult. But that one stars Jackie Vernon, who did the voice for Frosty the Snowman back on the old cartoon, which is kind of interesting too, to see him do something more adult. But yeah, getting back to this movie, I would definitely recommend it for those who like low-budget films, especially if you're into like trauma films or even full moon entertainment films or anything like that. I would say definitely check this one out. Now, I know that there was a Blu-ray release through Vinegar Syndrome, which I'm hopefully going to get a hold of one of these days. And it looks like it has some really, really cool special features on it and everything, which I would love to watch. But overall, I would say this movie is pretty cool. It's not going to be for everybody, especially if you're not into like low-budget horror, especially old-school low-budget horror. Even though I would say this movie looks like way better than even some of the movies that are being put out now. They definitely remastered this one and restored it quite well. But yeah, overall, I would say, yeah, check it out. And come back for the next episode, guys. Bye.
Now, Mr. Slade, don't you think that a renegade lawnmower is just a little ridiculous?
I don't know. I see machines do some pretty strange things. Man builds them, repairs them, maintains them. Depends on them. But they ain't perfect. Now, we've all had a machine do something it wasn't supposed to do. An electric razor with a safety guard on it that still cuts you and draws blood. A big jet plane passes inspection fine, but its engines drop off just as it's climbing into the sky. It happens all the time, in big ways and small. It ain't so surprising.